Hello, this is Kara from Lady Kara Tarot with Walkthrough Wednesday, where I do a flip through of a deck, but this is specifically a deck that I have worked with a lot, that I understand, and I'm I'm very late to the game in doing this deck. I have often mentioned it as my favorite deck. It was once again my deck of the year, and for last year. And that one of the ways that I determined that was purely the deck that I had worked with the most in a variety of situations. So this is, I talk about it so much. I'm sorry if this is repetitive, but I want this to be kind of the comprehensive walkthrough and overview of this deck. So this is and very inexpensive now, and I think I don't know if there was ever a Kickstarter version of this, but this is a mass market deck. It's very inexpensive, and it's so ubiquitous now that I was able to get a second copy on, it was either Etsy or eBay, for even about half the price, and it was a brand new second copy. Oh no, it was on Facebook Marketplace. I was able to get a second copy. Because this is a deck that is so important to me and how I work and just my affinity with it, that I wanted to have a second deck. I didn't want to have to be at all precious with it. I have this. This seems to be separated in some way. So it is not in order because it's a deck that I work with a lot, but let's go ahead and put the Magician there on the top. There are two additional cards that I think are marvelous additions. One is the Minor Arcana number meanings, and the Minor Arcana suit meanings, kind of an overview of what that suit means. And these are the traditional cups, water, swords or air, pentacles or earth, and wands or fire. And then just some keywords, and each one has a hint word. Like for cups, the hint words are flowing, fluid, immersed, not solid, full, empty, drained, overflowing. Hint words for the swords: turbulent, sharp, breezy, oppressive, floating, cutting, blunt. For pentacles, solid, down to earth, grounded. It could also be stolid instead of solid. Hint words: fast, moving, heated, energetic. And could be also overheated. So those are really useful, especially for, I think, not just for somebody who is a beginner. I actually was thinking just today that I wanted to do a little refresher for myself on number meanings, and here it is right there. Right, this is just an incredibly put together in such a smart and useful way. I have praised the guidebook before. Now the print is kind of small. There are about 2 pages on each of the majors, a black and white version of it. Now they talk about the symbols. They break down the symbols in each one of the majors. A lot of the different symbols, and talk about them, about a good paragraph on each one of the symbols. The direct meaning, the shadow meaning, and the angelic message. Now, those of you who follow me know I used these angelic messages as affirmations for a daily pull with this deck, where I went through all 78 of the cards. And that was an influence of this deck, influence of the angels, on my practice. It led me to do that, to start my daily affirmations. Now, they're not always affirmations. Sometimes they're a little more practical, but that is the angelic message. So one of the things I love about this is because it has that angelic message, that means you could use this simply as an oracle deck. You could pull a card They're the Ace of Pentacles. There we are. This is Cups, Swords, Pentacles, and Wands is the order in this book. So, and then you could just pick the Ace of Pentacles as an oracle card and just read the angelic message. May you be blessed with abundance, good health, and prosperity. And that's your message for today as an oracle card. And I do like decks that can be used in multiple ways. The writing is really insightful. Even though there isn't a lot here on each one, what they say is insightful. Now, another whole layer to this deck. Every one of the majors is associated with a particular angel. So let's look at the Fool. The Fool is associated with Ariel. The angel of youth encourages us, Afriel. The angel of youth encourages us to experience new things and embrace new ideas. He buoys our enthusiasm and confidence about what is on the horizon. So every single one of the majors has an associated angel. So that is another thing that is mentioned on the majors page. And then, of course, it would be him. The religious zealot, the King of Wands. All of the court cards are portraits of actual people. And they are just brilliantly paired. The King of Wands here. This is John Brown, American abolitionist, fiercely against the institution of slavery. His actions sparked the American Civil War. There's almost 2 pages on him before they get into the meanings. So it's about decisive action. A call, and they talk about the symbols, the fire in the sky, a firestorm where passion mixes with ideas, and the raised arm, a call to action. So they still have the symbols for each one. But every single one of the court cards is a portrait of a person who lived. And again, I said, and now I will say, there are a few other cards throughout the deck that are portraits of people, but that's more random. But they're just very, very well chosen. Just trying to find the next. I see that, I think, is a portrait of a particular lace maker. Oh, not another king. Give me somebody else. Okay, Knight of Cups. This is John Dowland, the famous lutenist, best known for Flow My Tears. If you've heard any medieval lute music, you've probably heard his song, Flow My Tears. He lived from 1563 to 1625. English musician, composer, lyricist. Awake My Sweet Love, Fortune My Foe, All Ye Whom Love, and Flow My Tears are his best known works. So many of his songs were hits of his day. He was a professional lute player, but was most renowned for the songbooks that he published. His symbols in this now, the lute represents his music and his capacity to move and affect human emotion. red wine for passion, the angel with the lute, music conveying emotion without using words. Dowland listens as the angel plays for him. This represents emotional communication and spiritual connection. Along with, what I didn't mention, along with the actual person is an influencing angel. And we see these throughout the deck. That's another person card. So I'm trying to find one that I don't think is a portrait here. So we don't have a portrait here, but we do have a Cupid offering her the cup. In the Seven of Swords, we have two angels in the sky looking on him. So every card has some sort of interaction with an angel. That is the influence of the angel. So it's just all of these incredible layers done in, I think, a truly brilliant way. I know that word is overused. So now I'm just going to do a flip through of the deck, or a walkthrough, and I think I'll talk through this because. This is the card that in my deck interview, the deck introduced itself as the Chariot, which I took as a marvelous marvelous symbol of both protection and forward momentum. This is an example of one of the very famous works that are incorporated. These are all based in classical artworks, some through a range of time, from medieval to the Romantic era, and there's even one Victorian era. I obviously had this deck separated a certain way. Can't remember why I had it. So this is the Victorian era one. This is my very favorite representation of the Three of Pentacles because one of the three people working together is the horse, with the angel calming the horse and influencing them. I think this is a very interesting Eight of Cups because it appears to be a monk walking away from the church. Perhaps going to become a hermit. This Ten of Wands is just, I think, is so powerful. Niccolo Machiavelli as the Knight of Swords. I think this is one of the Medicis as the King of Pentacles. I used to keep threatening to learn those court cards, and it still hasn't stuck in my head. Some of them do, but not all of them. I mentioned this card makes me laugh. It's part of a diptych that has a painting on the front and the back. That it is the Two of Cups, and it makes perfect sense for the Two of Cups. On the back of this diptych is both of them as skeletons being eaten by worms. It is a memento mori diptych but it also, ironically, very positive because it is love never dies. Because even though they're both skeletons and skeletal corpses, they're still in love and with each other. This one, this is a Grecian wall painting, I believe. And the only thing I don't like about it, it's so out of keeping with the rest of the artwork. It just seems like it doesn't fit. Even your most favorite deck can have a sour note. So otherwise I think the art style is very cohesive. There's so much to work with in these. Even without reading the additional information, the choices are so strong. There's just a tremendous amount to work with. I even like the border. The border looks, it's shaded in such a way that it looks like a pillow frame that's curved. I like borders anyway, but I think this is a particularly beautiful framing of these in this deck. I just like this deck. I want to go back. I think this one, I don't remember her name, but I think this is a portrait of the woman who was the first woman to publish an everyday cookbook. Instead of, the fancy meals that would only be for royalty, she published a cookbook for everyday people. That's Mary Wollstonecraft, the author. And these are also portraits. I don't remember who they are. The little angel in his cup. So that is the walkthrough of a deck that I've used. As far as, I think it's, some people think of this as a beginner's deck. For me, it's impossible to think of it as a beginner's deck because there are so many layers that if you're actually using all the layers, that's definitely not a beginner's deck. If you're learning all the names of those angels and you're learning all of the people in the portraits and you're learning the other people and how the angel in each card is interacting, you could do an intensive study of this deck and be all the richer for it, and have your readings be all the richer for it. So it is, and because also it can be used as an oracle deck, it has all of these points of entry, which again could make some people think that it's a beginner deck, but I would just say they're not paying attention to all of the potential depth in this deck. And when you combine all of that with a really insightful and concise and easy to grasp writing style of the guidebook, it's really something quite special. I mean, I would say that because it's my favorite deck always in my top 5. And it tells you something if I got a second copy. I don't get another copy of many things. So I hope you've enjoyed my walkthrough and perspectives on one of my very favorite decks. I am a classicist, so that's why I like this style of collage artwork. I think it's just particularly well done for all of the reasons that I mentioned before. This is Kara from Lady Kara Tarot with the Walkthrough Wednesday of Influence of the Angels Tarot. Thank you.